But WWE had a head start. They should have been able to clinch this. They didn't.
No, and it seems like everywhere where AEW made the right moves this year, WWE made the wrong ones. They let go of the wrong people. They booked they drug up 3 rounds of stars from NXT to do absolutely nothing with them. Retribution happened.
Yeah, they did one good thing this year, and that was Roman Reigns, and that's something that we've been asking for years. And maybe wouldn't have been as good without the weight.
You could have got here without lying about cancer.
Yeah, I agree.
All you had to do was make him heel in the first place. That's all we wanted, and now we got it, and it's good because it's like at first I was like, fuck yeah, heel Roman Reigns, and now I'm like, I don't like you anymore, and that's the way it should be.
Yeah,
you go ahead and talk too much during matches, Roman Reigns, because it gets the heat from me.
Right. Yeah, it's it was a rough year for everybody, but I'd say but we say that, and let's just go back to what I said prior to this. They had their best year financially, so they're actually doing something right as a company. It just seems as a wrestling promotion, they're doing a lot wrong. And maybe that's what they're looking to do. They're making money. I guess it's hard to argue that. But as you and I,
they had their best
fans,
fiscal year, even though they were sued by the Volunteer Firefighters of America. They had their best fiscal year, even though the year prior Vince sold $3 billion worth of stocks and invested in a failed product for it to fail again. Best year ever.
I mean, hey.
And now they're looking at unionization. They've taken away people's livelihoods with streaming and third-party sources. Yeah, WWE is on track to be our worst promotion for the foreseeable future.
The sad part is this pandemic is definitely going to push off that unionization argument for easily another year. I mean, and it's a long argument anyways. It wouldn't happen for a
people think 2020 is over. I saw this awesome meme the day that they stormed the Capitol, and it was
day 6 of 2021.
Nice, no, it said, "Ha, nice try, December 37th, 2020."
Yeah, I seen that.
It ain't over.
Pasty, at the beginning of 2020, we didn't know all this shit was going to happen. No. There was a virus that existed over in the Orient that didn't affect us.
Right.
We had a president
that we pretty lucky with Ebola, a couple years prior.
We had a president that we knew was going to be gone in a year and couldn't make things any worse than he already had. I mean, shit was pretty solid. And you know what? Coming into 2020, we got what is the best pay-per-view of 2020, and we got to get our best pay-per-view award out. New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, both night 1 and 2, we put them together.
First pay-per-view of the year.
And the best. I mean, and I guess, obviously, the pandemic hit after...
The best.
Pandemic hit in March, so we only had, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... We only had 8 pay-per-views that probably could even get a chance to be the best because, the pandemic fucked everybody. But with that being said, New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, between you and I, we graded that A+, and that's the only A+.
Fucking Naito got double gold. How could it not be an A+?
In fact, the only matches the only pay-per-views that came close, the Rumble got an A. New Japan New Beginning got an A. Good for New Japan. NXT had their last good takeover in Portland with an A. And then surprisingly, TLC at the end of the year got an A. Other than that, it was a pretty lackluster year. It was a pretty poor year. And with that being said, I'm actually going to Pasty. We go above and beyond. You know that here at Beef Sticks Podcast. And everybody's all into the numbers nowadays. And Pasty, we have the numbers for 2020 pay-per-views. Our average grades per company And of course, to apply for this, you had to have 3 or more pay-per-views or / special shows in your calendar year. And we're just going to go from worst to best. And boy, I bet nobody could guess the worst. WWE got a C grade from us with a 4.6.
I think we gave an NXT and NA, didn't we? We invented the NA and the S rank in 2020.
Well, we did solo, but not as a combined grade.
Okay.
So WWE, but of course WWE had the most pay-per-views, so it's probably a given they probably would be worse. The more you have, the lower your rating goes down, but we get it, whatever. AEW, second to last. They were the best promotion, did great on TV, did a lot with AEW Dark, and did a lot for wrestlers. They didn't have great major shows this year, especially not when you consider the All In that kind of spawned this.
Yeah.
Which, of course, wasn't an AEW event, but still, come on, we know it's the precursor.
Yeah.
AEW,
the first 2 AEW pay-per-views were real rough because that was the beginning of the pandemic.
Correct. Yeah, that was hard for them.
That was Brodie Lee and Matt Hardy debuting in front of nobody like the first fucking week of whoa.
Right. So they ended up getting a B, and with a 7.75. And to be fair, NXT also only got a B this year, which is surprising. NXT takeovers used to be awesome. But NXT got a slightly higher average with an 8 instead of a 7.75. So just barely upped AEW. So they're pretty much a tie, which makes sense. They're the 2 that compete against each other, right?
The competing forces. That's the way I like it.
Impact Pro Wrestling did few shows, but the shows they did, they tried to go all out and give you what you wanted. B+ for Impact Wrestling with an 8.6, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, also very few major shows, but put a lot in there. A- with a 9.5. So all in all, there you go. That's kind of how the pay-per-views went this last year. Watch the New Japan and Impact ones. You could probably skip the rest.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I think somewhere in here we're talking about the best pay-per-view. We're about to talk about the worst pay-per-view. But I think we need to talk about the worst pay-per-view ever. Talking Shop-A-Mania Part 1 has to get a shout-out, man.
They definitely deserve it. They
brought entertainment back to
fun.
pro wrestling this year. Like, honestly, the second one might have been a little bit too much retreading the same shit, but I love it. I can't wait for the next one. If you haven't seen them, $15. Go buy it. It's yours to keep forever, and you'll watch it a few times, I promise.
And actually, I believe if you buy it, you get both of them at $15.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty sure they have them combined at this point now. So, yeah, you can get both 1 and 2. And, yeah, I think they should have at least put like 6 months in between them or something like that. Little too much of the same, but definitely just for the concept and to actually go. I mean, they put their own money on the line to do this, to go all out. And
Talking Shop-A-Mania 3 might have a little bit more AEW affiliation, huh?
You could only imagine.
That'd be good times.
Could be great times.
Could be incredibly horrible. Who knows? That's the beauty of Talking Shop-A-Mania.
You never know. You put too many out, Pasty, and the fans could come and give you some backlash, you know.
Oh, backlash. I don't even remember why this is the worst pay-per-view of 2020, and that probably says it all.
Yeah, probably because it sucked. I couldn't tell you a single match from it. WWE Backlash 2020. I don't know. I think, wasn't this the first Backlash in quite a few years also, if I remember right? Possibly.
Yeah, because Lashley's back, that's why they did it.
That's what it is.
And I'm pretty sure it was Black History Month.
See, the thing was, and this is, people don't know this, but WWE, they can be kind of racist, especially towards blacks. We've gone over it in detail in former episodes.
I'm sure we will more.
Yeah, but we're not going to rehash that here. But the thing was, Lashley came back, and Vince said to himself, he said, "Bobby, you're looking just amazing, my God, but you need more cocoa butter. You're all ashy. I got it. The next pay-per-view we have is going to be Black Ash. And you're going to headline Cocoa Butter on a Pole. But legal got a hold of him, talked him down, and they talked him into changing it from
Great
Black
Balls
Ash.
of Fire was magnificent.
To change it from Black Ash to Backlash. So that's kind of not a very wide known story, but that's actually how Backlash got brought back.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep talking a minute. I'm gonna dive back and I'm gonna see if I can find some information on this pay-per-view.
Well, you know what? I think while you do that, I'll go into the next award, and we can always hop right back and explain why this one was so awful. Because I agree, I don't remember really much of anything. I guess I could say what our cumulative grade was for Backlash, and that was an F. And it was the only F this year, so I do know that's not good. When you get an F, something really put you over the edge for that. But moving on, we got one of our most favorite and most fun awards of all time. One of the few that are actually named for, actually I think the only one we have named after, well no, the second one we have named after a wrestler. There's of course the Dreamer Award. But we have the Mick Foley Award, and of course we award this to the best hardcore / bloody / brawling / you can call them 1,001 things. We know what a Mick Foley Award match is. It's just rough, rugged, and raw. And boy, did we see that in AEW's dog collar match between Cody and Brodie Lee. The one that may have killed Brodie Lee! We actually, put this on our list of contenders before we knew Brodie was dying. And I think it seems fair. It was a really definitely the best dog collar match. And I think we said this when we were recapping it, or maybe I did, since Piper Valentine, which is Starrcade, I want to say 87.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend go back and watching that. That's a badass dog collar match.
Well, we live in this era where when WWE brings back a classic match, it usually sucks dick so much we never want them to bring it back again.
True.
And when they announced this dog collar match, I think you and I both knew it was going to be something special right out the box. I mean, it's Cody Rhodes, who, yeah, he's probably not the best wrestler in the world, but he knows how to tell a story in the ring, and he knows how to fucking put it out there.
Let's put it this way, as far as bleeding in a match, he's this generation's Ric Flair. Not wrestling ability, but definitely for bleeding in a match, he's this generation's Ric Flair, where he's going to do it whether you want it or not. And then, of course, you got Brodie Lee. Made his name in CZW, Shikara, Jersey All Pro Wrestling, and a lot of those were doing hardcore matches. His matches with Grizzly Redwood, his matches with Necro Butcher are just things of legend, as I mentioned earlier. Look him up. He's a hardcore icon. And I think Cody, trying to fulfill his lineage, I think he wants to be like Dusty, because Dusty was another crimson mask, blonde-haired, full of red. He'd go out there and he'd bleed. I mean, if you ever seen an interview with Dusty Rhodes, his forehead looks like a Rand McNally Atlas. I mean, there's lines going everywhere.
Yeah.
He was not afraid to bleed a little.
And in the beginning of this match, this was going to be the first real Brodie match. We had, I think, Brodie versus Mox at this point. But this you knew it was going to be something. We didn't know what we were getting from Brodie yet still.
Yeah, because the Brodie Mox one underperformed. I hate to speak ill of the dead, but it definitely underperformed, I think, by almost everybody's expectations.
It's really hard when Mox just had that killer match with Omega, 6 months prior.
Right.
And then bringing Brodie back, and we're all like, CZW, man.
Right.
And it wasn't what it was supposed to be, but this dog collar match, I think, blew some shit away. Basically
you said something right there that I'm going to go back and tack on to AEW being the best promotion this year. Even though that they ran the entire year, barely shut down, one thing I love about AEW, you just said that match he had